Try this out. Let's make some art. We make big old canvas. All right. Live. It's alive. All right, today we are gonna do... It's imperative. We must become world famous immediately. Your signal is bad. Hey, Charity, how are you? Thanks for joining. I'm gonna try a portrait of Midna. And there we go. Yeah, this is it. This is my... I must activate the world famous arc. The viral button must be pressed. No, but it's a little silly, but it's I'm watching the slow death of my my profession as a as a storyboard artist in advertising and stuff like that. It's actually not being that bad, but the downtime drives me insane, and I'm glad I have this project to work on. And with any luck, I can make something that'll pop off and give me some sort of escape strategy, so I don't have to concentrate on, I don't know, the charity of people who are actively seeking to not have to hire me. They're like, oh, I guess we need a storyboard artist. Well, let's call Max. I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be... I'm like go-to guy. I'm not the... Well, ChatGPT can't do it, so... Let's give Max a shot. This is interesting. Now, we're going to make it an original composition, but never hurts to see what others have done before. Prince at cons. Nerds love that shit. All right, I'm nearly there, you know. It's not like I couldn't. These 3D figures are pretty handy for seeing like the 3D space. I think what will happen is I will eventually try to dip my toe in those waters. Like physical sales, I guess, of something. And if it's not Nintendo stuff, maybe it could be my own things. But, you know, my friend started making themed candles and selling them at cons. Apparently it's going well. Okay, that's good. I've certainly seen a few YouTube vids by whoever's that seem to think that the con stuff is in troublesome waters. I have a friend who is like a legit art dealer, and he's been having a rough couple of years. Whereas it used to be like he couldn't keep up with all the purchases. Now it's like every sale is a hustle. It's a different world out there. This is lovely. Like this kind of thing. So, you like Midna. Is there any sort of explanation at hand as to what is happening with this hair? So, having drawn it before, I can't make sense of it. There's this hair that seems to tie itself in the back and then fold over like a C-clamp. The Valley have those pop-up vendor events, yeah. Because people have to take out loans to buy groceries right now. Yeah, for real. People like me. Not just kidding. But I'm not far from that. We're if not for my lovely wife doing a good job, times would be pretty tough. All right. Let's dig in. Let's dig in. All right, we've got a lovely lovely page of Google references at our disposal if we need them. Let's forget all the research. Hey, Danny. Let's forget all the things we just saw and wander in blind. I think that's the important thing. And let me know if the music is too loud. The screen just froze. You can just hear audio. Oh, that's terrible. Sorry. It's in her imp form. It's like another part of her body, but in her true form, it does nothing that I'm aware of. Yeah. I sometimes get the impression that, like, they sort of, like, shoehorned the sexy true Midna thing in at the end. They're sort of like, shoot, how do we end this? Let's have her transform into something beautiful. Perfect. I have not read the manga. And this needs to sort of be said. I was playing Twilight Princess at the height of my pothead arc. So while I've played the game and I believe beaten it, because I've seen the ending, like I remember seeing Midna, I have no idea what the hell happened in that story. I remember cool stuff, but yeah, so much of it is just like a blur. It's just this big pot smoke blur. It's one of the last video games I really played. Was Twilight Princess. All right. I don't know why, but it feels like I'm going to suck today. So I'm just going to get that out here. I've been working pretty steady, you know, the last 3 or 4 days, 5, 6 days. But it's been a mental, swamp for me. Perhaps some of that is emotional. Nothing bad is happening. It's just I go through phases where it's like I have to force myself to draw or be creative. I don't love doing that. Kind of wish I was a little bit more motivated right now. I'm a little too comfy I'm in like lazy mode. That makes it tough. But we're gonna see. All right. Oh, I always have to. I can't draw this zoomed in. That's too much. We can go here. It's not so bad. And we're gonna try for the sort of traditional kind of max portrait vibe. Let the drawing be what... You know, it's like a drawing can be... Like the blank page can just sort of be like this Ouija board experience, if you let it. Like you just close your eyes and just like make marks all over the place. And just deal with what you get. I'm very quickly needing a reference. I know it's crazy, but like, this is the art so far, and like, I have a good feeling about it. You love her in both forms, such a smart ass. At 3 a.m., jumped all around my living room and then went to bed. Yeah. Alright. I like this, I like using this as a reference. I'm gonna pull it up. Okay, we can see this. This feels like it honors the proportions that we see in the video game. Obviously, it's more 3D, and... Charity, maybe just refresh your stream. Danny, do you see me, like, do you hopefully hear me, but do you see me? Also, it could be the Twitch stream just sucks, because I'm doing it on YouTube as well, and that might work better. I don't know. But there's no pressure. Start a new project. Midnight. It's your signal. Oh, you have to. Okay. All right. Well, I won't, Don't you hate it when people, like, try to troubleshoot shit for you, and you're like, no, I know what's causing this. They're like, oh, yeah, but have you tried? You're like, I fucking know it. I know that my shit sucks, okay? Shut up. I'm the guy. I'm the kind of guy that like if I talk about something that's bothering me, but I like that doesn't necessarily mean I'm asking for a solution, you know? I don't expect other people to like solve my problems. It's nice if they can, but like it's not like I didn't try to solve them. So when people like jump in with like, oh my gosh, I bet you could just do this, and you're like, you fucker. This is my pity party. It's where you work. There's hills and one tower and a whole area and a shopping center. Perfect signal when all the customers leave. Okay, that makes sense. They're like hogging the bandwidth. Seem to like this sort of shouldery. A little bit of like tension in his shoulder. As I've now been doing this more than a few times, it's funny seeing the patterns. And what I'm becoming aware of is a certain pattern of automatic thinking and problem solving. People lock their cards. We have to tell them they can step outside for a bit because good luck and Godspeed. Yeah. These early stages, it's like assembling, this is my new favorite analogy, it's like assembling flat pack furniture from IKEA. If you tighten things the second that you put them together, you'll end up with, at the end, with whole sections that don't fit together. So you kind of have to loosely just indicate things where they would go. And save the tightening for the final steps. The final placements are TBD. Go like that. Like that. This is a funny world, the land of Hyrule, where all the girls have sideburns. And are taller than the guys. I think it can be a cool piece. I think it's off to a good start. What I'm hoping... So this is kind of cool, is... it's been nice adjusting to... God, my hair sucks. It's because I washed it. That's the problem. It's not full of the normal bacon grease that weighs it down. But the bacon grease and refried beans, there are all these sorts of after-school programs at my kid's school that are halfway decent. So my daughter's in choir, and my son is in, I guess, what they call prime time, which is it's like after-school activities. And it's great because it'll either allow me to work when I need to work, or do this when I need to do this. And today I need to do this, so. The goal is essentially I have 2 more hours to create a germ of a perfect piece. And when I say germ, it's like, what does germ mean? Let's learn germ meaning. A microorganism, especially one that causes diseases. How about second definition? A portion of an organism capable of developing into a new one or part of one. Okay, here. What is the germ of an idea? A small amount, usually one that develops into something large or important. Okay, that's what we're talking about. We can put together something that, though incomplete, will become complete if we give it enough host cells, I guess, to infect. All right. Danny, I understand you're stepping away. Good, do that. And Charity, I know your signal sucks. And you can't see. One thing about Midna that must be decided at this point is she has this cowl with a hood. The hood sort of comes to a point, but the point doesn't point to anywhere. And that isn't acceptable in this composition. It needs to do one of two things. It needs to either point forward, maybe slightly, maybe a lot. It's a choice. Or it can point backward. Maybe slightly, maybe a lot. It's the same sort of deal I run in with like Link's hat, you know. But it can be a sort of... It can be a antenna piece for her mood, perhaps, or something that sort of signals what she's feeling. You know, if she's aroused, maybe it points up. And if she's feeling a bit down, maybe it points down, you know? I always... This stuff, it has the potential to be like a the wag of a dog's tail. You know what I mean? I think a slight but deliberate down sort of feels okay for right now. I'll make that the case, and if we have a spark of inspiration to do something different later on, we will, but we'll know that we're doing it with intentionality. So... She has these really interesting... They are, they're sort of... The shape of her eyes is reminiscent of, like, traditional Japanese illustration or paintings. Woodcuts or whatever from centuries ago. You know, they certainly didn't draw themselves with big round eyes or anything like that. Nothing like anime. It's very sort of slanty. Phrase things a little more delicately. A lot of A lot of eyelid and horizontal and almondiness. They also give her, you know, these distinctive yellow whites of her eyes. It's been consistent. You know, and I guess she's like a... She's from like the Netherworld or whatever. It's like a... She's like the Beetlejuice princess or something, you know? It's a different realm. We might be due for a screen flip, like a flop. We have to make sure that the read of the drawing is not drifting too much. Our brains will heal visual problems that we encounter along the way, whether we want them to or not, and I most certainly do not want that. For me, it's very helpful to look at the shrunken image in the OBS monitor. It's a very handy reference to just sort of see the drawing sort of zoomed out. Shit. This. Okay, this isn't bad. It's not off to a bad start at all. Now this is just sort of like, what is she gonna do? What does Midna really think? You know what I mean? What does she think? What does she want? Who is this character? Get out! Get out! You're banned! So, Danny, you'll be forgiven, of course. But the, so Midna is the Twilight Princess in Twilight Princess, which is the... So there's Zelda, and Zelda is in Twilight Princess, but she is, she's just sort of like this thing that you get at the end when you fix all the problems. You get, you know, Zelda is saved or whatever. And Midna is the person that helps you along the way because she needs your help. And most of the time, she doesn't look like this. She looks like this little sort of gremlin, basically. So she's sort of a refugee from her own her little. She comes from an alternate reality where she's like the princess in their own sort of weird neither world. I'll just call it that way. But it's like it's a reality unto itself that sort of exists in the shadows. I guess the mood could just be like, I am smolderingly hot. So that could be the challenge. Like, I draw her as weird as she is, but like she's just like crazy hot. She does have this awesome design, and it's interesting. It's very like her, very original, very iconic, very goth. You know, it really ticks those marks for me. She's got like this green skin, orange hair. You know, crazy, this crazy aesthetic, right? Yeah, this is for Linktober. I think one of these days I have it here. Hold on. It's it's like nothing dramatic, but it's I think it's for one of these specific days is like come on. One of these specific days is like twilight, you know? If not actually midnight or something like that, right? Okay, here we go. Well, let's see here. It could be I guess Twilight is on the 25th. So, in preparation for that. But it was also sort of like already on my bingo card, right? Like, how far was I gonna get without drawing like an awesome portrait of Midna, you know? Oh, the are you talking about the Lum drawing? Uh, I mean, at this point, it probably wouldn't surprise you to know that I drew that when I was drunk, and I posted it when I was drunk, and I deleted it when I was drunk. No, but they're the Lum drawing is yeah, yeah. Well, there are while it's difficult for me to articulate what I'm trying to do, sometimes it's some things feel in service of that goal, that sort of the very unspecified goal. And some things do feel in service of it, and that was the right thing, but at the wrong time. Does that make sense? Even when I'm drunk, I do goodish. Yeah. I'm a very inhibited person, so for me, having something that if I something that I know will essentially shake me out of my inability to do things is sort of helpful. I don't tend to do bad things when I'm drinking. The worst thing I'll do is like trip and fall on my face, for instance, or you know, I mean, it's like an accident could happen, but I'm like, that's why I drink at home. I don't go out and drink. You know, I don't make it a point to you know, you can get in trouble going out in the world. Before you know it, you're halfway across the Shire. Sorry, I'm going to be sort of particular about this eye line. Have you ever worked with a client drunk? No comment. No comment to that. No comment. I'll say this though. It is a it's sort of like a historically established convention, I suppose. You know, it just sort of goes with the territory. And I wouldn't say this as something as like, oh, you know, this absolves priests or whatever, but like Catholic priests, for instance, part of their job is literally to drink wine. It's like literally part of their job. That said, you know, Catholic priests have a lot of explaining to do, and I'm going to let that be their thing. But artists are not saints. We are not we sort of have this sort of natural understanding with everybody else that we don't have to be perfect specimens, at least not all the time. Getting way too detailed on these eyes, like way too early, but it's part of me is trying to like find the this is always the most important part, right? Like for me in my portraits, when I do these things, it's like the eye is what grabs you, and then the rest takes over. But if it's important for the viewer, then it's extremely important for me. But I feel like this is basically it. When I was working on site, like several years ago, I certainly never got drunk and like drove to a client or anything like that. It wasn't like that. But, you know, maybe I get a little high in the morning or something like that. Like a, you know, smoke a bowl or whatever. And, you know, perhaps unrelated to that, I'm running late, you know. And like the job is supposed to start at 9:30. But it ends up, you know, I hit traffic, you know, that's a thing in LA. Anyway, it ends up being like, I get there at like 11:15. You know, and I've already called in from my car, and I'm like, oh, I'm running late. They're like, all right, no worries, we'll see you soon. You know, I get there and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. And they're like, don't worry about it. You know, they are just glad that I showed up at all. They have no See, Danny, the problem for me is I want to do the right thing. But so many artists who have come before me have set the bar so low by doing the wrong thing so consistently that I can't. All I'm doing is walking, and I'm just leaping over the bar. The bar is on the floor, basically. The threshold for like where artists become good or bad is really quite low. It's something we've unfortunately done to ourselves collectively. I'm not happy about it, but it's not like I can complain about it. That is something that has. Artists are their own worst enemies, first and foremost. Like, we're not good at almost anything that we need to be good at, including art, unfortunately. Now, I try not to suck at art, but and I'm doing my best to demonstrate successful techniques. But like, I'll talk to other artists that do my job, and they're like, "Yeah, client told me job was supposed to start at 9." I was like, "Man, I ain't doing that shit. I'll see you at noon, and you better have my lunch. But the food better be on the table, so I can eat it when I get there, and then I'll start." You know, that was literally like one of like my first on-site experiences was hearing another artist talk that. I was like, I cannot believe that. That was just, it's like so incredibly disrespectful. And like coming from my position where like my mom was a storyboard artist at Disney, she worked her ass off. So for me to see that like in my little niche where we're doing like commercial storyboards, artists were so disrespectful to clients and just sort of dictating terms and on all this stuff. It was like just absurd stuff. Like you would think these guys were like neurosurgeons doing people a favor. Anyway, that was the last time they ever hired that guy, because they hired me from then on out, and it was like, let your ideas carry me, not the art itself. I think that's the way, man. Just do your best and just try to be a conduit for like what's trying to get out of you. We're this is a very I know, like I have this like running joke, like sort of gag, that I'm like this conceited asshole and stuff like that. But a lot of things resonate with me, and a lot of those things are like really conceited jokes. Um and I remember being at like this music show one time, and there was this guy, he was like singing, I don't know what the genre is called, but it's like baby making music. It's like, baby, I'm gonna make love to you. Our love is so deep, you know. It was like sort of, he's like singing like that. And the crowd of like 50 something, that's their age, is 50-ish. There's like maybe 50-year olds that are women in this audience, and they're like, woo, you know, they love it up. And they're giving him this like, wee, woo, you're so great. And he's like, I'm just the messenger. I'm just the messenger. Can you imagine? You're like, but that's what I'll say here is, I'm just the messenger. You know, I can't take credit. I'm just the messenger. This is looking cool. I'm nervous to do festivals in the future, not gonna lie. What do you mean festivals? Like animation festivals? Like Lightbox or something or whatever? And by the way, you think you're nervous. Charity was in the stream earlier saying I should like do physical cons or whatever, like put out prints and whatnot. And while I agree with her, yeah, while I agree with her, and my wife is saying like the same thing basically. She's like, "So when are you gonna sell these?" I was like, "Put that money in my hand." I'm like, first I need to feel like I don't not belong. Your brother is a lot better with crowds. Yeah. Danny, I don't know how to tell you this, but like you're young. You're really young to be so far along with like your like I wish I was as driven. You know what? You know it's weird. You're 26, right? Actually, by the time I was your age, I had started my own company. So maybe maybe I did have some drive. But it came as a result of working like a shit job, kind of like what you're trying to do, what you're doing, and what you're trying to get away from, man. He's a public speaker, yeah. Well, you know, we all have those that we look up to, and, you know, I think, oh, this is looking great. I'm happy for this. Sometimes, especially when I wasn't used to it, when I knew I had to like be a cool guy in public, I just pretended I was like channeling my friend who is really good in crowds and stuff like that. I'll be like, well, I won't pretend, I won't say what I would say, which is like, well, I don't know, or whatever. It's like, I'll say what my buddy Ken would say. You know, he's an art dealer, and he's like, oh, that's super, you know, it's unfortunately, Danny, a lot of this stuff is about like people are easily manipulated, and because you and I are like kind people that don't want to manipulate people, we just sort of end up sort of not knowing what to do. But here's kind of the weird secret. Is people actually kind of want to be manipulated. Okay, so it isn't that they want to be manipulated, right? But they want to be led. They want to feel in the they want to feel caught up in the grasp of like strong leadership. This actually explains a lot about our like current political climates in this country. But in the absence of strong leadership, people get a lot of anxiety, and that's the feeling people hate worst of all. It's just sort of like, I don't know what I don't know, and I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it, and I don't know why. That's like anxiety in a nutshell. When someone who seems to know what they're doing, who seems to have a talent for doing what they're doing, it's when it's demonstrable, when it's clear, when other people are like getting in on it, and it feels like a safe place to be like, yeah, you know, we're all in on this cool thing that's happening. I love it. That for people is irresistible. And unfortunately, a certain amount of that has to involve some like a little bit of BS, a little bit of like, and it isn't like it's like bullshit. It's just sort of like, you know, there's a certain back and forth exchange that happens to get people to trust you and care about you. Now, a con man will use those same techniques and then fleece people for all their money. That doesn't mean that's what you're doing. Imagine if you took what a con man does, like, yo, you go up to a chick at the bar and you're like, yo, baby, you're the girl of my dreams. Baby, I want to tell you something, but I'm so nervous. I get so nervous around beautiful women, you know, and like that shit shouldn't work, but they're like, woo, you know, I love you. It shouldn't work. It shouldn't work, but it does. And that's bad. But like, if you honestly thought she was the girl of your dreams and you weren't going to disrespect her, then it's like game on, you know? That's what they want, right? I don't know. Is any of this resonating? Also, don't listen to me, but there's a certain amount of truth there. This is looking good. All right, let's see. So, we know I like my portraits with a, you're just happy I've done so much progress since we met. You've definitely impressed me, Danny, but, not as much as I've impressed myself, okay? All right, you have a lot of catching up to do. No, just kidding. Um, uh, honestly, it was interesting because the other day you were posting some of your old artwork, and I was like, I remember that. I was like, that was like, that feels like it was years ago, and it was like 6 months ago or whatever. And it really is really interesting and impressive to see like the amount of maturation and development that has come together. Like, to me, this is very quick. I don't know. I have an idea for like my own like projects and stuff that I had when I was your age, and I have moved this far on those projects since that age. Like, literally, they haven't budged. Like, nothing has happened. So the fact that you are able to sort of like productively iterate and progress is well, I'm super jealous of it. Well, that's kind of cool. This kind of like reflected out. It's kind of like that aesthetic, like glowy eyes. All right. Okay, here's the question is, did I guess right? Did I put the eyeball in the exact middle of the composition? Let's see. Are you ready? Are you ready? We're going to see. You just want it badly with my next breath. That's like me and my world famousness. It's right here. This piece is going to do it. All right. I'm going to click the button. All right. Let's see. Oh, very close. Very, very close. All right. That's pretty darn close. Very close. But I like it in the... It's certainly touching the pupil, but only on the edge. Like, I want it... that's not close enough for Max the Carpenter. We're gonna just nudge it over. That's okay. That's what computers are for. There we go. Just one little nudge. Boom. Cool. Now we'll turn that off. Put that away. This is going well. I want to see if I can get my little pee break. What did I do with that? That one little... The PBRB. Were you there when I drew the picture of Link going pee? That was the that was something funny. Did I save it? Probably crashed. Everything sucks. I drew a picture of like Link going pee. Maybe I could just do it again. Super fresh. Let me save this. Let me save this. Make sure this is saved. This is off to a great start. This is definitely... Danny, I can smell it. Do you smell the money? I smell the money. It's happening. My theoretical internet millions. Billions of likes. Trillions, even. More likes than there are people on the planet. They have to invent new likes to count the likes. You can feel it. Do you smell it? Let's see here. Because my thing is like, yes, I drew it, but like, it's just as fun to draw it again. Let's see here. And turn it into an art lesson, right? No, we're gonna this little wiener will be this Hyrulean wiener will be pointed the other direction. There we go. I'll give him the sword and the shield. Quick break doodle. Sexter, are you just joining? You missed the whole stream. Well, you're about to see this stream. This will be a funny one. I have to like watch my son go wee. So I have to like remind him to pee before school. There's a link at the water temple here. All right. Here's a little fairy. Just helping him aim. So it's like all triangulated, right? How funny is that? Alright, that's funny. Pee. Alright. I'll be right back. Back. Ah. Whee! It's P. All right, save that. Okay, we were working on this. Midna. I didn't draw the noodle. No. Hey, welcome everybody. We're trying to. Okay, what we're trying to do is draw scroll-stoppingly good art that catapults me to riches and fame. So that I can pull up the artist community with me. With me at the apex. The Triforce of Power, if you will. Alright. Eh. I will, if I do not succeed, I will, hopefully inspire others. Wrong brush. There we go. What you guys missed was that I was off by a, oh man, it's not even showing up now. What does that mean? Jeez. The center point of the image. Great. Mirror painting not working. Well, I don't know why that's not happening. But, what you missed was that, we determined that the center of the painting is basically... I nudged it just like half a nudge, and it is the, now it is in the middle, as all my art portraits must be, because I'm decidedly anal about that thing for some reason. Just a little bit of cornerstone nudge, and it definitely is a little tricky. The just because the pupil might be in the middle of the frame doesn't mean the eye is looking directly at us, and sometimes that's something that remains elusive. That looks good right there. Yeah. I think I just have to nudge these things up, yeah. That basically does it. Alright, we have about an hour before I have to do my daddy duties, get my kids from school, etc., etc. Help them with homework. So this is, we're going to get as far with this as we can. But the germ of this piece is well underway. This piece may not be the piece that catapults me to fame, but it will still stop a few scrolls. I dated a chick like this a long time ago. It was, my first girlfriend was very, like, sort of this alt-goth kind of vibe. She was like Midna, although she was more like the impish version, where she was, like, short and, like, full of sass. And, like, would just as soon, like, leave me to die. as marry me. So it was sort of funny. Yeah, this is a Linktober piece. However, it'll be posted on the appropriate day, not just like, yo, today is Midna Day. Today is not Midna Day. Eventually they'll have like a Twilight Day, and I'll post it then. So I don't have to rush this one, theoretically. Though, you know, I never try to spend more time than I should. You know what I could do? This is somewhat silly, but the girl in question, she had this distinctive nose, and it was heart shaped. This was crazy. But it was literally heart-shaped, like that. Never drawn that before. Well, I won't say never, but... so I've drawn portraits of the girl, but the... Well, you know, when they talk about the... I don't know. What do they talk about? Like, do fun, cool, distinctive things like that to make your art interesting? Like, why not, right? This girl, she was a she was super alt goth. But she actually came from a family with like a she like wanted to be a punk. She like idolized that stuff, but she was actually from a family with they were decently well to do. I mean, they had money. That I could tell. Was not a you know, punk by choice, I guess. You could put it that way. Add an extra layer of realism. Someone might see their own nose in the illustration and want to share it for that reason. There's plenty of this girl already in this image already. Why is my mom... why does Midna look like my mom, you know? No, but my brother, like, who had met this girl, also would certainly look at this and be like, that looks like someone we know. This girl was absolutely toxic and merciless and not worth pining over in any respect. But we're talking about aesthetics. That's those are different from, you know, she could have acted differently and didn't. That's okay. I'm much better off. That's the artist's privilege, is to get revenge on your enemies. It's not my enemy, but artists get to do whatever they want with their imaginations, including resurrect old grudges and you know, torture people in famous works of art, right? Certainly getting there. And what I really like about this is it feels like a solid, like, max take on the thing. Having had enough time to Feels like it's full of my sauce, you know? Also, thank you, people, for coming to the stream. Thank you for joining. This is the first stream I've done in a while. You're not imagining things. I'm out of the habit. It's unfortunate. This is a good one to come back on. Very happy about it. On that note, everybody save your work. Like, this already looks great. You could just post this. I won't. I'll keep going. But I'll make sure I save all the stages along the way, just in case, because it's like, there is something awesome about those rough stages, right? See all the decision making, the mind of the artist. I think I mentioned it, but the time limit for this stream is in 1 hour. 1 hour from now. Then I gotta... I mean, I have to be at my kid's school at 3:45, so I need to leave here at 3:30. Which is in an hour. Do you guys know that Scott Pilgrim versus the World? This was like literally the situation. It was like... She even looked like this. She had like the short cut hair. You know, the sort of like goth styling. She literally had hair like this. Although it was green. It was literally green hair. And, but otherwise, like, could have played this role. And this could have been me. Except, weirdly, I worked out in high school, so I was actually pretty buff. So I would have been like this guy. But, yeah, like, she had all these boyfriends, all these ex-boyfriends that I was like, okay, I guess I'm next. She had like 12 evil exes. It was pretty funny. It was so absurd. And she was like 16. So I was like, whoa, girl, you have a history. I was like, holy moly. So, you know, but we did good. No, it wasn't a good sign. Not a good sign. But, she came back. But, we're not meant to be. For good reason. Ugh. She was no Midna, and she was no Princess Zelda. A bit of lore, though, is that this is the girl that I've told this story about the Adventure Time guy who was my roommate at art camp. Penn was my roommate, and he had a crush on this girl, and then she ended up going for me at the end, and so she was my girlfriend. But this was the girl. This was the crazy girl. Ashley? What is that? What is that pertaining to? Is that the name of the person? Max has Riz. I did when I was a kid. I had a lot of Riz. Because I was an asshole. Yeah. Is she the night girl from Twilight Princess? Oh my gosh, I don't remember that character. The girl's name is actually Ashley. Was sort of funny. So when you typed that, I was like, what? What do they know? I was like, they know too much. In stream. In stream. Good predictor. Save your work. We need these stages for the process vid. Avail, are you on TikTok? You don't have to be. I'm just slightly curious because I think I've only recently had some success on TikTok and very recently on Not Yet You're Afraid. It hasn't been that bad. Honestly, I think you do just fine. Don't at this point, what I've done recently is I've really embraced just deleting shit and starting over. Like if I post something and it doesn't like pop off, I'll be like, well, fuck it, you know. People were asleep that day, you know. Delete it, maybe post it again later or something. And if you know, I had an I had a Twitter account that didn't do well. I started another Twitter account for my storyboards that didn't do well. I started a Study Studio Max Twitter account or X account that didn't do well, and so I just started another one, and then all of a sudden it is actually getting a little bit of traction now. So I've got dozens of followers, but it's difficult. It's difficult to like get a toehold. But like something not working just doesn't mean that it's like a life sentence. Like if you catch hate, just delete it, move on, or whatever, or block, or maybe it's easier said than done. But yes, extra. I like that your TikTok is See, I watch too much YouTube, and all that YouTube does is talk about how toxic TikTok is. And then I'm like, okay, well, doubtless there are some examples of that, maybe lots of examples, but it's like, but that's not necessarily a predictor of any one person's experience. I posted my stuff on TikTok and everybody was like, you're goated. It's peak absolute cinema. And I'm like, cool. I guess I'll keep posting. So it's about as simple as that. I don't see why your stuff would do any differently. And Danny's on TikTok too. And hopefully it's not toxic. I like, to me, I've been like, okay, out of all the platforms, like Instagram is clearly the most toxic. I don't post any art on Facebook because that's just for like boomers. It's for like grandparents wanting pictures of shrimp Jesus and stuff. Might be a worthy conversation to have. Are there any platforms that maybe I should be posting to that because now that I'm posting on X, I feel like I'm like, well, should I be posting on Threads then? Does anybody post on Threads? Is that like is that some sort of promising thing? At this point, it's like it's just easier to just post it every single darn thing because I'm already posting to 90% of them. And I've really not had any bad experiences. I do Blue Sky, I do DeviantArt. Tumblr, I do Tumblr. Yeah, Tumblr's cool. Tumblr likes Zelda. Yeah. Tumblr is, I think, decidedly full of neurodivergent but like passionate people. But it's like there's also like every site, if they're like, oh, you're an artist, can I commission you? Will you fall for my scam? Like every site is like that. ArtStation's like that. All that stuff. Pinterest, ooh. Pinterest is like the last social media site you could put posting on, but I don't know how engagement or anything works there. Yeah, not really my thing. No. There's also Pixiv, but I think they prefer more anime styles there. Okay. I think you should focus on the platforms that are doing the best at the moment. You know, ironically, Twitch is the worst platform for me. Even after X, like my X/Twitter followers grew very quickly in the last 2 weeks and is now better than my Twitch followers. Newgrounds, yeah. Do you guys post on Newgrounds? Because that's like a fan art site or like indie, right? I've never been to Newgrounds. I've heard about it on like degenerate YouTube videos where they talk about deranged cartoonists that go to jail and stuff. Love Newgrounds as a kid. I've seen Newgrounds work, but I think their community is likes more polished work than what I can provide. Oh, who's in jail? Oh, like, I don't know. I watch those like the deserved downfall of such and such creator, you know, or whatever. Just brain rot, YouTube slop. YouTube drama. Where are they now? You'll never guess. Watch to the end, you know, all that stuff. Ugh. Something I don't love about the Midna design, the Trueform Midna design, is it's she's essentially like weighed down and tied down with all of these different things that have to sort of point to each other and articulate. Like, there's no way to have this and like honor it with like big flow. You know me, I love my flowy things that flow. It just ends up feeling very arrested. That's okay, I'll still make it smolder, but I think she's looking good. I would do what I want, except what I don't think I want anything crazy. The most here, you guys are here. Do you guys like it this way? Because there's two options, okay? So we could do it this way, where I don't have like a solid vote yet. Either the hood kind of points back like that, or the hood could sort of point up like that. Now that I see that, I kind of like it up. Yeah, I like it up too. Yeah. Yeah, I like it up too. Yeah, it's interesting. But what I don't know is why. Like, why do I like it that way? Why do you like it that way? But it feels a little bit more interesting. With everything else, sort of, they've got the, like, her little headpiece or whatever is sort of, like, bending down, pointing down. A lot of stuff is pointing down. Maybe just something nice to have something just pointing up. But what I don't want it to do, this is education time. What you don't want it to do is just do that. You know what I mean? Alright, we all like it up. I like it up too. But what you don't want to do is have something straddle. It's just sort of like, oh, it's not up and it's not down. It's got to be... this stuff has the potential to be expressive, right? So just, like, don't leave that on the table. That said, I don't want it, like, touching the top of the screen. So I might shift some things down. This is sort of like an interesting point where you can like ask yourself like, oh shit, stream down. Oh, we're back up? Okay. Sometime before the year is out, I'm going to experiment with just doing the YouTube stream versus just doing the Twitch stream, and we'll see which one is more stable. I think there's something that is something's weird about the dual streaming or the multi-streaming that causes that to happen. And I hate to say it, but if Twitch is like the weak link in the chain, we might have to ditch it. I don't think interruptions really even bug me. But you know, I don't know. there may not be anything wrong with the Twitch stream. It's just it's not playing nice with other streams or something. I don't know. I don't know what to I don't know quite what to make of it. Anyway, some experimenting might happen down the road. I'm very hesitant to just ditch Twitch. That isn't something I'm really trying to do. But it's like, you know, as a whatever, the this cringy guy I listen to his podcast. He's like, behavior is a language, okay? And I'm just like Twitch is telling me that they don't love me. Something's still gotta change. But it's like I'm not a things aren't perfect so I'm leaving kind of guy. Like, I am not like that. I can love things that aren't perfect. I don't need them to be perfect. But if they're telling me that they don't care about me, then that's also another thing, you know? I don't want one-sided whatevers, you know? A lot of the reasons that I liked Twitch in the beginning are not perpetuated. They've changed a lot. They don't host my old VODs anymore. You know, they stopped being like the generous host of my stream ancestry or whatever like that. It's like not happening anymore. So meanwhile, YouTube's like, cool, we'll take it all. Now, of course, YouTube is probably converting it into like an AI that will replace me. But I'm still impressed with some things that are happening there, so I don't know. Oh, I'll tell you guys about a thing that made me scream the other day. I didn't really scream, but it was, I got an email from one of my clients. Have you shared your Twitch streams on your socials? To the extent that it matters. It matters very little. There's been maybe like 5 people that I've noticed that will find me on one platform and carry over to Twitch. One of them was a Reddit user, Husky. They might be around still. Yeah. The other day, one of my clients was... They sent me an email. Well, they sent my agent an email, and they were like, we've got an AI project coming up that may need some Mac support. Is he able or willing? You know, it's a question. Is he willing to... do paintovers over AI-generated content to fix, you know, to quickly fix errors that are, you know, bound to crop up. And is he willing to work hourly for that and stuff? And this was like formerly a union client of mine, meaning that they paid into my union benefits and this company did a lot for me 2 years ago. And now they do literally zero for me and are trying to... Their interests are centered on themselves, and nothing to do with me or what I care about. And that is a real... I'd kind of been suspecting that they were like this for a while, but had no evidence. And then it feels like they've just gone completely mask off. They're like, Max is not our go-to guy anymore. He is the backup guy for when ChatGPT can't do it. So, an occasional tweet before you go live might help. Oh, maybe. Anyway, I was very annoyed to see that email. And of course, I don't want to help them do anything with AI. But I was like, let's just tell them that yes, I am. But like, mostly I just want to see what they're up to. Like, what are you doing with this tech? You know, is this something that like you're trying to make work and it isn't working? Is this something that is truly a threat to me? And if it is, should I be aware of it? You know, I'm not to the point where I'm like going to be openly hostile to clients who hire me, who use the tech, but it is the whole thing just gives me so much pause. Like, why? How can I make a future here? The future that I had here is now under fire. It's all thrown into question. What can I do that isn't going to be just undermined? If I do a good job on anything, clients are not going to think, when can we get Max on our next project? They're going to think, how could we get AI to do what Max does, you know? So I have to think about what's good for today versus what's good for tomorrow versus what's good in the long term. Some of that involves gritting my teeth and being willing to accept an invitation to peek behind the curtain at what is going on. The ultimate outcome of all that was they did not follow up with hiring me or anything like that. So, and this was after, like, I told my agent, I was like, tell them I'll do it, but they have to you know, be willing to put into my my union hours and stuff like that, like they used to, you know. It was good for many years like that, and then all of a sudden it isn't, and I wonder why. I have my own suspicions. All right, we got half an hour. I did not forget to pick up my kids. The kids are getting picked up at 3:30. I leave here at 3:30 to get them. Yeah. My kids are smart and resilient. They know how to hitchhike. It's going to be fun. Now, this is interesting. Further back. Go further back. The... Here, these... So this is an interesting question. What do we do with this weird joining coupling thing that happens with her hair towards the bottom here? And initially, I was just sort of matching what's happening up here in this reference. That might be good. What if it was pointing the other way, though? Is that better? Might be. It's such like a weird design. I guess that's like part of the appeal. She looks unique because they did things with her design that would never make sense logically. Like, oh, take your hair and then it's a necklace. It's like, what? Why? What? Like, their whole design aesthetic is this sort of like Nightcrawler. It's like worms. Maybe you'll find other work opportunities in the future if social media keeps rolling along. That's what I'm hoping is, I don't want to not storyboard anymore. I just want to have things to fill the space in between the storyboarding that feels like I could parlay them into either better networking or better, or possibly paying gigs at, with like clients that aren't involved in the entertainment industry. A big part of the issue is that my clients are getting squeezed out by their own clients to sort of do more with less. And it's like, well, the least thing that they can do is use AI, so that's what they can, that's where their brains are going right now. They're like, well, we've got to do this because we don't have any money for anything else. It's essentially, that's like the most charitable thing I could say for them in their own defense, is that they just really just don't have resources anymore the way that they used to. If that's the case, you know, that's one thing. They're mistaken if they think that not hiring people who are like, our job is to plan things so well that they save money. So eliminating that as a line item is going to cost them money, but let them discover that on their own. But in the meanwhile, I can't hold my breath that long. I need to do what I have to do, you know? I'd be lying if I said that, like, my experience with, like, social media is... I've gotten a few legit commission inquiries, but they very quickly sort of like lose steam, and I think a lot of that has to do with like just overall people's finances are just very, very, they're not bountiful. People don't have like tons of pocket cash, burning holes to spend on luxury goods like art, and I don't blame them. I certainly don't spend a lot of money on art myself. AI is fast and cheap. Now, people are good at spotting AI now, and they can tell that they're being given something fast and cheap, which has its downside. So, thankfully, people who don't like AI are wary of it, don't want it, and don't want to see it. Did we all see that announcement that Pinterest now lets you dial back the amount of AI slop you see in your feed? Thought that was cool. Whether or not it's working, I can't test, but we gotta make sure we get the expression just right. Yep, occasionally there are people online who do spend a pretty penny on art regularly too. Maybe you can do commissions on the side. I'd like to get into that. Ideally, what I can get into are people. I don't need to charge an arm and a leg. What I need are people who don't need things to be due at the same time that my storyboarding clients need their stuff done. So if people are willing to say, yo, I just need this in the next 3 weeks, I know that, historically speaking, I'll have X amount of downtime in those 3 weeks, and that I can definitely finish out a commission in that time. Exactly. I only want it to be extra money. And in fact, like, the smaller the scale, the better, because, like, maybe it's so small that the IRS wouldn't notice or something, you know? Allegedly. Allegedly. Taco money, yeah, for real. Alright, let me flip this. It's been too long. Okay, this is looking okay. Definitely lost my way on some of this stuff. Yeah, I need the money for wine. That's interesting. It's really nothing bad. But yeah, flopping an image just reveals so much that your mind covers up. What a little objectivity can lend to your perspective is incredible. You know how, like, in your own life, you can look at your circumstances and be like, I know I need to do something to change things, but I just don't know where to start. I don't know what to do. But then, like, if like you're talking to a friend and they're like, yeah, I don't know what to do either. You'd be like, oh, I know exactly what you should do. It's clear to me from the outside what you should be doing. You should change XYZ or whatever. From our own perspectives, it's so... We blind ourselves to, like, what is obvious. Or right in front of our eyes, right? Like, it's clear looking at this that I'm like, oh yeah, we definitely need to have, like, eyelashes going down here. If they're going up here, there, then they need to be going down here, here. Such a big help. And then there's too much airiness to the back of her head here. So we just need to add some of this. Yeah, I think it's looking good now. It wasn't anything dramatic. It was just like something obvious was not there that was catching me a little off guard. Maybe... It's just splitting the difference just a little bit. And then this... right here. This needs to come down more. It's looking good. Make them more cuter. I think I maxify them a little bit. Sort of perhaps a broader appeal, but like I'm not trying to do anything more than just give it my own take. That's interesting. Like, there might be some people who are like, yeah, but she doesn't look Midna enough to me, or something like that. That could be the case. That might be the case. I don't want to sacrifice the Midna-ness for the sake of cuteness either. There's a lot to be said about honoring the source material. Her weird eyebrows, making sure that her eyeballs are nice and yellow and orange. There's a lot that's going to go into it. More minutes. Thank you, Danny. Yeah, I'm gonna be finishing up very soon. I'm going to cheat a little bit and give her an exposed, at least half of an exposed shoulder right here. There's going to be some things to figure out, like her... What does age mean? Oh. I'm not sure if that works. Did it work? I'm not sure if the commands will work on my my restream feed. Doesn't work? Okay, it's probably because of my shit's all messed up. Still collecting even though you have them off? Points? What are you talking about? I guess I don't know about, like, Twitch points and stuff. Like for rewards? Maybe there's some sort of, like, a video I should watch or something where it sort of explains what's going on with these things. Because I really don't know how that stuff is working. feel like I'm just a YouTube video away from like learning anything I need to know for the rest of my life. You guys are all the help I need. I'll probably find out that I've got like a trillion rewards. Someone just gifted me rewards. Oh wait, do you get rewards for watching videos or for making videos? Pretty early on, I was like looking at all that, the Twitch bits and stuff like that. I was like, that'll just be a distraction. I'm like, my integrity as an educator will not be besmirched. And then like, for like 3 months, my streams were just like me getting drunk and ranting about AI. Talking about all this goated artwork I was going to do that never materialized. Or hadn't at the time materialized. Recently, the pace of art and all that has been pretty good. I'm very pleased with all the stuff that's come out. It's kind of cool. Viewers get points for watching. Okay, but I get nothing for making it. Got it. Perfect system. Thanks, Twitch. No, I guess at like a certain threshold, like you can run ads and stuff like that. It might be possible that I could do it now, but again, similarly, I was just sort of like, well, I want people to just watch it and learn as opposed to watch it and then watch ads and then I make money off those ads. But I'll admit there's a certain sort of like way that people kind of respond to just sort of like, okay, you know, we'll hang out on this ad and then we'll come back to the stream. I guess that's how it's done. I don't mind the ads, especially if the streamer is fun to chill with. Well, that has me out because I suck. The ads give people an incentive to buy subs. Interesting. I guess, you know what I might do before I ditch Twitch entirely is I might try to run it with the subs on. You know, it's like I just sort of like do what they want you to do, which is like be an affiliate and monetize. Because it's not impossible that one of the reasons my channel isn't growing is because Twitch might be throttling it because it's getting no monetization from it. They don't really have a lot of incentive to just openly host a stream that has viewership if that viewership gets no ads and there's no way to monetize and there's no incentive for them to monetize, right? That could be the case. And you have to promote your own channel, yeah. Custom emotes. All right, we're getting there with time. Very close. Just push a little bit further and then we'll be done. This is getting there. It's really not bad. I think this is one of those W streams. Can somebody explain to me something? You know when they talk about like, oh, this is God tier, this is F tier, you know, what is S tier? S tier is like at the top, but what does S stand for? I don't know what that means. What's it referring to? Could have people watch streams, gain points, no reward could be a 5-minute doodle, keeps them happy, viewers stick around. Twitch is happy with it or subs, yeah. Grading system they use in Japanese game. S or triple S tier. Wow. Okay. Nerd alert. Kids these days might even say purple or gold like the colors in Fortnite or ultra rare item drops. Oh, interesting. It's crazy kids. All right, one of these days, I'm gonna be on one of those like artist YouTubers. I'm gonna be like, I have two goals. Okay, one of them is to be on one of those top 10 lists for like art YouTubers. And the first one is to be on the top 10 most underrated artists. All right. So it'll be like underrated artists. I'll be like, oh, Max Forward, underrated artist, yeah. And then my second goal is to years later be on the most overrated artists list, right? Yeah. Be like the deserved downfall of Max Forward. Yeah, they'll be like, this once goated artist boasted tens of followers and then exploded thanks to his Minda drawings. And then AI allegations or something, you know, I don't know. This is looking cool. Yeah, no, it could happen. Minutes left to go. Even the music is like... All right, getting there now. All right, I think we're here. I think it's time. Let's save it out. Save it out. Without a doubt. All right, hey, I'm pleased with this. Pleased with this so far. Guys, I really appreciate everybody popping in, all the joiners joining and saying hello. How do you do? Say hi to Midna. Midna True Form. Do a little 50-50. Let's embiggen it. Let's bigify. Let's make big what could be big. And then give it the silly look. All right, something like that. All right, I gotta fix my camera. I gotta shave. I gotta do all the good things. Get media ready. Get you know, guys, because I'm gonna explode. I'm gonna be world famous. This is the last you'll see of me. The last of you'll see of me is I'll do like a courtesy stream. You know what I mean? I'll check in one last time, just enough. I'll like be like sipping from the champagne with like the counter of my millions of YouTube followers in the background, clicking over to like 1 million, maybe 10 million. We'll see. And it'll just be enough for me to, in between giant chugs of wine, to say, peace out, all you suckers. All right. All right. Till next time. Adios.